Babies! Exclamation point, question mark, exclamation point, question mark.
What about him? Hello!
Hi guys, we are starting this vlog right after our gingerbread one. So we have our gingerbread house right here. If you haven't seen us make it yet, be sure to head on over to that vlog. Those vlogs are always super fun. I can't say if it was fun because I haven't edited it yet, but it'll most likely.
Were you not there? I had fun. I was there. I had fun.
I'm sure the video was fun. We are also going to do our Q&A now. We asked 4 questions about a week ago on Instagram and then a couple days ago on Facebook as well. And then also asked for questions in one of our videos. So we have a couple of questions pulled from all over the place to have us answer for you guys today. We've done one of these Q&As in the past and some of these questions are repetitive, but we'll probably answer them again anyways.
Because life has changed since then.
So we're just gonna dive right into it and get to answering questions. Okay, let's do an easy one. It's mostly easy because Trevor and I have not traveled very much. The question is, where has been your favorite place you have traveled and why? Neither of us have left the country.
Right.
We also haven't been to very many states. We are not very well traveled.
Yes.
So this should be an easy one because we don't have very many options.
But I feel like we do. That's the bad thing.
Really?
Yeah.
You feel like you've enjoyed all of our travel places?
I would say 2 for sure.
I will say, okay, so on our honeymoon, we went on a road trip for our honeymoon for a week and went to a couple of different states and a couple different places across the United States.
Yes.
My favorite of that trip was kind of everything in Texas. We went to Waco, we went to Galveston, and we went to Houston. And I like Galveston just because it was a beach. Like, I wouldn't say there was really anything else about Galveston that I liked.
I like the food.
Yeah, that's true. They had decent food.
And that was also the first time I've ever been to the quote-unquote ocean, even though it's not the ocean, it's the Gulf. Yeah, so that was kind of just the experience there. And the food was really good. And
we didn't, and with Houston, we didn't take the time to explore like Houston very much.
Right. We
spent all day at NASA, like all day. We came when they opened and we left when they closed.
So worth, by the way.
That was so fun, and I think we just loved NASA. So I don't necessarily think that like Houston was like the reason I loved it. I just loved NASA.
And that's what's going to be mine too. Was Galveston and Houston. Houston because we went to NASA, and Galveston because I don't know, the food was really good, and we just hung out on the beach, and I made sandcastles and tried to build a wall. So that was fun. Next
question. What is it like for Trevor living in, and then it has our town name. We live in a small town in rural Indiana.
It's a lot like living in the small town and living in Kansas, except for less yeehaws.
Less yeehaws. We're a little less country here in Indiana.
Yeah, and I think it's a lot about who you know too. I think if you kind of hang out with a certain crowd. Like here we don't really hang out with like...
like my friend group isn't like farmers and like country folk.
Right.
Like, but there is that around here. It's just like that's not who I... Like my family or anybody I know, like we don't really hang out with that crowd, I guess. Because we're not farmers ourselves, so we're not very yeehaw.
Well, and I wasn't yeehaw where I'm from, but going to school and interacting with people that were farmers and farmers' kids, and there's just a lot of farmland everywhere where I lived, and there's a lot here, but so I mean it's not really much difference. I mean,
yeah. Okay, since that question was for Trevor, we'll answer one that's for me. How are you and your sisters so close? So if you guys are new here, I have 3 sisters. I am the oldest. I would say that the reason we seem to be so close, I mean, and we are too, but like especially in the videos and stuff that we post, we really like seem to be so close and be like having fun and all that kind of stuff. And we are really close. I'm not trying to say we're not, but we just love to have fun together, especially now that we're older. But also we, like I would say we kind of bickered a lot when we were younger and growing up. Got that out of our system, and now we're not afraid to bicker and know that it like won't affect our relationships with each other. I would say we're friends before we're sisters almost. I don't know if that's right. Yeah, it's hard to answer that question because we just are the way we are. I don't know. And
Yes.
I love that my sisters and I are so close.
Can I help you? Being attacked by a grizzly.
Okay, this one goes along with it, and it was actually asked by one of my sisters, so she's just kind of being funny, but I will answer it, and we can answer it. If you had a daughter and had to name her after one of your sisters, who would it be and why? So we've got Chelsea is your sister, and then we've got my sisters Melissa, Sarah, and Blake. So what would you choose and why? If we had to. I think I know my answer.
What's your answer?
If we had to name one of our daughters like after one of our sisters, I think I would name her Blake. But I think I would want to go like Blakely. Like Blakely with like Blake L-Y. Blakely. If I had to name it after one of my sisters. But it has nothing, sisters, it has nothing to do with who you are. It's just names. Do you like the name Blakely?
Sure.
What's the hardest thing about working for yourself/family?
Oh, where to start?
So if you don't know, I own my own business now and I am self-employed. But my parents also own a marina, and so that is where Trevor works, and that is where I used to work, but I don't really work for them anymore. But I can still talk about it because it's definitely something I've done before.
Working for family is... I don't know. I don't know if it's like all families but I've never heard someone say that they work for family and they're, I guess, happy or nothing bad ever happened. I'm not saying bad things happen. I'm not saying I'm not happy, but what you do at work directly affects
how it is at home.
Right. It just stuff that happens there comes home with you. So I mean, you just gotta. I don't know.
It's hard because like you can come home from work, like if you work a different job, not with family, and kind of be pissy about it, and even like let off some of that steam by like expressing your complaints to your boss and stuff like that. But when your boss is like your father-in-law or your mother-in-law or whoever it is, or family in general, it's hard to like express those concerns without like it bringing up like tension.
Yeah, because I mean, you know, you have Christmas together with these people and you have holidays and you see them, and since we live here, you know, we see them quite a bit, so it's not like, I don't know, it's just, yeah. You have to have very thick skin too, because there's stuff that, you know, people say and people do, and you got to think of it as a business instead of, you know, they're attacking me or something, like they don't like me, that's why they did it. Well, no, they did it because it was a business, and unfortunately you're kind of caught in the crossfire. Yeah. So
working for yourself, being self-employed, having your own business is a really fun, like obviously like I can do whatever I want. I can go to work when I want. I can wake up when I want. Everything I do, I get to choose. But that is also why it sucks, because I have to force myself to like get up and go to work, and like I need to go into the studio and do this today. Whereas like I know I could stay home because nobody's gonna force me to go. The same thing that's a positive about working for yourself is also a negative. Like you have to have that willpower to like make yourself work, but it's also awesome because if you don't feel like it, you don't have to, because you don't have a boss telling you not to, like telling you to come to work.
I think the biggest thing is that you can work on whatever hours you want to.
Yeah.
It's not like you have to go to work at 8 and come home at 5 and you have to do this and do this. Like some days you might work for a couple hours, get things done, and then need to do stuff at home or something, and then you know, the next day you end up working 10 hours instead of like 5, or you know, like you can just move stuff around, and I mean, I feel like that's like the nicest thing to do.
Because some days I can like pull a late night and work until midnight, but then other days like I get done working at 2 and just come home and kind of do stuff around the house and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. So we have a question, I'm looking for it, from our nephew. Connor says, which Grinch is our favorite? Connor is like, what, 3, 4?
Something like that.
So Connor wants to know which Grinch movie is our favorite. So these are the ones, by the way, in case you need a refresher.
I've seen the 2 on the right side. I have not seen the one on the left. So I'll be picking from the 2 on the right, because I have not seen the one on the left. You haven't
seen the animated one that just came out in 2018, right?
Right.
My favorite Grinch, Connor, is the one with Jim Carrey, and your mom will tell you which one that is.
And mine's the same.
Popping over to Facebook really quick, we had somebody ask us quite a few questions, so we'll just go through those. Okay. What are your top 1 to 3 goals for LVP Studios in the coming year? And that's my business, by the way. I really haven't even thought of goals.
What?
I'm just trying to get through this year still. I would say My top goals are, one, always to improve from last year. So this past year has been a huge improvement from the year previously. And so next year I want to make sure I can carry on that momentum and improve even more. That includes like revenue and the amount of sessions I have and just like the number of people I can reach. That sort of like improvement. I would say another one of my goals is I want to have more studio sessions, and mostly I want to try to focus on headshots and boudoir, which are two very different categories.
Yikes.
Do you have any goals for me? Like for the business? Like you're part of it too.
I don't know. I think the biggest thing is the burnout.
Oh yeah.
Because
you think next year my goal should be to manage my time better and not burn out?
Yes. And I don't know if it's necessarily the managed time aspect to it, but just to not get burnt out.
I think it happens to at least part of the photographer communities I'm part of. A lot of people talk about it, but we have a huge surge of weddings in the fall, and even not weddings, just like family sessions, everything. Everybody wants to do everything in the fall. And then come winter time, like right now, we have to edit all of those things. But we also have like all of these, like it's holiday season, so now we're doing all this family and we just want like a break. Like the rest of the world is having a break during the holidays. Whereas like we have so much work to do as like photographers and videographers. And I worked really hard this year to like get a lot of bookings and was not prepared for the amount of work that came after the bookings as well. So burnout was real this year. But I agree, that's a good goal. Okay, question number 2 from this person. What was the most positive thing that happened for or to you in 2020? Hashtag COVID blessings. I would say the most positive thing that happened this year was my studio. It has just opened doors for me, not with like necessarily the fact that I get like a lot of studio sessions, because I really don't. But it has opened doors like as far as like me taking this job seriously. If that makes sense. Like I have a place to go to work now. And so it's been the best thing that happened this year that's going to set me up in the future to like make my business even better.
I'd say mine is probably the attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah, the change of attitude, the change of, you know, why you do things. And
he's been a lot happier this year, is what he's trying to say.
Yeah. Well, I've been a lot happier the last like 2 months. Yeah, I would say.
You've had a mindset shift.
Yeah, and it's been, even though maybe stuff hasn't actually been better, but just looking at it in a different way and looking at it in a better way, in a more positive way.
Yeah. I think this year has taught a lot of people in general how to take like negative situations and try to turn them around.
Yeah.
Because everybody's been faced with different negativity this year. Number 3, will you be making any family TikToks over the holidays? Probably not.
I don't do TikTok.
Yeah, I don't make TikToks. But my sisters, I think, have made TikToks before, so we might be featured in some.
I don't do TikToks.
Okay, number 4. Do you both enjoy listening to the same music or podcasts? What are your favorites? And then who is in charge of the radio when you make road trips? That's a good question because we travel from Kansas to Indiana a lot, and that's a 12-hour road trip for us.
The first part is, I don't know, we listen to different types of podcasts, but I wouldn't say we listen to the same podcast. Like, if I had to pick a podcast and she had to pick a podcast, it wouldn't be the same one. But I feel like the podcast we listen to, we both kind of enjoy, so it's not like when we're listening to one, the other one's like, oh my god, I hate this podcast so much. It's more like, you know, we listen to a podcast we both kind of like. Because I'm sure you listen to podcasts when you're not with me about stuff that I wouldn't like.
Yeah.
Just like I kind of listen to podcasts, like sports podcasts that you probably wouldn't care about.
Yeah. So our go-to podcasts for our road trips especially, we like to listen to... So Trevor's driving... Well, okay, so the last question was who's in charge of the radio, and I guess we should address on this real quick. Whoever's driving is in charge of the radio.
Right.
Because they're the one that needs to stay, like, focused and, like, awake and in control. And so they have full control of, like, the radio or whatever they want. Like, if they want a snack, like, we get a snack. And, like, whoever's driving is fully in charge because that's the person that, like... needs to stay awake and needs to be happy and comfortable. So what I was going to say is if Trevor's driving, then we would most likely listen to the Bobby Bones Show podcast. And that's about it. You don't really... What else would you pick that I...
Well...
Or music. He would play some music and it's either going to be like 2000s throwbacks or country.
Yeah, okay. The other podcast that I've been listening to lately is the Cosmo.
The one with Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yes.
Yeah, and I like that one too.
Yeah. Yours are...
Yeah, if I'm driving. Well, what are we listening to?
It's a little different now because it used to be Jenna and Julian, but they don't make podcasts together anymore. So,
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Actually, she's not dead, so I shouldn't say it like that.
But you like I forget what it's called, but it's about unsolved or
Crime
solved.
Junkies.
Yes, Crime Junkies.
Yeah.
They're from Indiana, and so
yeah.
I listen to that a lot.
Uh-huh.
I don't know, the other podcasts you listen to are like...
Well, I like to listen to David Dobrik a lot. We'll listen to his podcast. Those are really fun. I forget that time is passing when I listen to his podcast because it's like sitting and just chit-chatting with friends. Okay, and then we have one question from YouTube that we're going to go ahead and answer. This one says, are there any Christmas or winter traditions that you've created for just the two of us that's not picked up from like our families? So a tradition that's just me and you.
Well, I would say the gingerbread house. Do you guys do gingerbread houses?
No.
Yeah, because we don't either.
Gingerbread house is a tradition just we have. I would say VLOGMAS, obviously, is a tradition that just we have.
Yeah.
And honestly, VLOGMAS itself has created traditions. Like, we wouldn't probably make this gingerbread house if it wasn't for VLOGMAS.
Right.
Like, if we didn't need to film something, we wouldn't have.
Well, I'm so glad you did, because this is chocolate chip cookie and I'm about to eat it.
What's another thing that we do for VLOGMAS that's turned into like a Christmas tradition for us? Because whether or not, okay, we're always going to film like during holiday season, even when we have kids, but like even if we didn't, we would still be making like gingerbread houses with our kids now. Like that's a thing that we do now.
Yeah.
What are your favorite things to do this season?
Oh no, we're boring. I'm boring. Ooh, hot cocoa.
Yeah?
Yeah, because my family, yeah, we have. My family makes hot cocoa with hot water, and Danielle makes it with hot milk, and it's so good.
You never had it with hot milk until me?
No.
If you haven't had hot chocolate with milk instead of water, go make it right now. Pause this video, go make it, take a drink, and then come back and comment. I would say my favorite thing for the holiday season is shopping. And not like in like the girly like, oh, I like to shop. Like I really don't shop any other time except for like holiday time.
Yeah. And
I truly enjoy shopping for like other people and just going to different stores and looking for things that my sisters would like or looking for things that other people would like. And this year it's been all online and I've liked that too. That's been really fun. So I would say my favorite thing in the holiday season is like shopping and getting like to spend money on other people because I don't really often spend money on myself even.
Yeah.
Okay, and then our last couple of questions we saved for the last. When are you going to make me an aunt? My sister said that.
Whenever your other sisters get pregnant.
Why do I have to be the one to make you an aunt? And then the last question is babies! Exclamation point, question mark, exclamation point, question mark.
What about them?
We save these
they
for
smell
last.
and they look weird.
We save these for last. We got this question last time we did a Q&A too. A couple of people asked us about children. We are a married couple. We've been married for 2 years and people just expect that to be the natural next progression. But they will come with time.
Yeah, we already have 3 of them. We have a cat and 2 cats and a dog.
Yeah. So obviously we would like children and they are going to be in our future. We just aren't sure when. I feel like we've been talking about it a lot more than we had. Like the last time we answered this question, it's definitely a big, like we probably talk about kids, like not even like talk about like I want kids, but like bring up like when we have kids or oh when you're a dad or oh, you know, for vlogmases in the future when we have kids. Like the idea of kids in our future has definitely been something we've talked about a lot more.
Yeah. And I feel like we've been changing things in our lives that'll set us up in a good position to have kids.
Yeah. And we think about like kids a lot more. Like I think about things like with my studio and with my business and everything. I think about, okay, like right now I can work whenever I want and work till 7 or whatever. And I think a lot more about like, what is my routine going to be like when I have like a 6-month-old? How am I going to make my business work when I have a newborn? Like things like that I would have never thought about before. Like we're definitely thinking about now. But that's all the update we have for you guys. So stop asking.
Why are you being so mean to them? They have feelings too.
We just get asked about this all the time. Okay, so we will go ahead and end the vlog there. Thank you to everyone who asked us questions. We do love doing this every once in a while and just like talking to you guys about some of your burning questions in the back of your mind.
Is that where they burn?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Mine burned in the front.
If you like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to us on YouTube if you haven't already, and follow us on Facebook. It'll all be linked in the description, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye! We can't reach the camera. Don't!